microorganisms. Basically, kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. So most of the microorganisms come under those two kingdoms. Kingdom Protista, there are two groups, Protozoa and Algae. Protozoa and Algae, kingdom Protista, and kingdom Fungi, again microorganisms. But there are multicellular organisms also under kingdom Fungi. All the unicellular ones are microorganisms, so don't mix up these microorganisms, macroorganisms, unicellular and multicellular. So some multicellular organisms also can be microscopic. Right? Not with microorganisms means not visible to our naked eye. Not visible to our naked eye. So all the unicellular ones anyway microorganisms, and some multicellular organisms also can come under microorganisms if they are not visible to our naked eye. I will share the screen now. Okay, so if you look at the textbook, under kingdom Eukarya, you can see Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animal. There are 4 kingdoms. So out of those 2 microorganisms you get under kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. These 2. So kingdom Protista, there are 2 groups, Algae and Protozoa. Protozoa and Algae. Algae. And kingdom Fungi, you get again microorganisms. Microorganisms. So these are the 3 groups. Actually, fungi, that means number 1 and number 2. You get microorganisms. Kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia we have completely done now. We have completely done. Kingdom Plantae we have done, kingdom Animalia we have done. So this last part, kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. So actually you get 3 groups under this, other than viruses: Protozoa, Algae and Fungi. Protozoa, Algae and Fungi. So if you only write here within bracket even with the pencil, so under Protozoa you get under kingdom Protista you get Protozoa and Algae. Protozoa plus Algae. Then kingdom Fungi you get anyway microorganisms. So these are the 2 groups. So these 2 you can put number 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2 you get microorganisms. So under kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae you don't get microorganisms. So you get microorganisms. If you only can mark this with a pencil, or separately you can write. And under these 2 you get macroorganisms. Kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae you get macroorganisms. Macroorganisms. Macro and micro. Now kingdom Fungi and kingdom Protista, there can be macroorganisms also, but microorganisms mostly under those 2. Other than that, there's one more group, viruses. Viruses we are discussing them separately because it's under classifications under different group. Right. Now let's move back to the theory tube. I'll erase this screen. I'll record. Some students are still in the waiting room. Please try to join on time. So this is a theory tube. So you can see now algae, bacteria under prokaryotic. These are the 4 groups of microorganisms. These are 4 groups of microorganisms. But algae and protozoa you get under one kingdom. Algae and protozoa you get under one kingdom. Now let's see the habitat. I have summarized all into one table. Let's see the habitat of all these and whether cell wall is present or not. Okay. You can complete the blanks now. First one, habitat of algae, fungi, bacteria and protozoa. Now if you take habitat, algae aquatic, algae all are aquatic, fungi mostly terrestrial, there can be aquatic plants also, mostly terrestrial. Okay, right here algae all are aquatic, fungi mostly terrestrial, mostly on land, or you can write terrestrial. Bacteria found in all the environment, widely distributed, air, soil, inside the human body, inside the plant body, found in all the environment, widely distributed environment. Then next one, protozoa aquatic. Right. Next one. So there are it can be unicellular fungi, it can be unicellular or multicellular. So they are very important for decomposing the waste matter. The next one, cell wall. So for algae, cell wall is present and it is made of, I'll put a right tick here, cell wall is present. Fungi cell wall is present, bacteria cell wall is present, but protozoa no cell wall. And you can write the cell wall material also here. Please write under algae the cell wall material cellulose, made of cellulose. Algae the cell wall is made of cellulose. Actually algae they are autotrophic, they can produce their own food, they are photosynthetic. That is one of the main difference between algae, more close to plants, chlorophyll present, photosynthetic. Fungi made of chitin, CHITIN. Then bacteria made of polysaccharide, cell wall is present and it is made of polysaccharide. You can put a right tick or you can write present, absent like that, right? No problem. Made of polysaccharide. Actually in the textbook they have given a separate paragraph, separate page for each group, but I have given in this format because it's easy for you to study. When the exam is closed, this is very easy because you will never get a question to write an essay about algae or to write down all the features of fungi. They don't ask questions like that. So that's how they have given that the theory in the textbook, but I have combined all the microorganisms into one table, but they belongs to different group. Example, bacteria, eukaryotic. If you want to write about this, if you want, bacteria, algae, eukaryotic. If you only can mark that eukaryotic, oh, that means nucleus present. Fungi also eukaryotic, nucleus present. Bacteria prokaryotic or prokarya. Protozoa, eukaryotic. Then so out of all these, what only bacteria prokaryotic, all the others are eukaryotic. Therefore you should know whether, and you should know to which kingdom they belongs, right? To which kingdom they belongs also you should know. If you only can write that within bracket. Algae kingdom Protista. Algae under kingdom Protista. If you only can write in front of this with a pencil. Kingdom Protista. You should know to which kingdom they belongs also, because I have not put everything here in the table, but you can write if you don't know. Kingdom Protista. So this one again, anyway, it's a kingdom, the kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi, you have a separate kingdom. So fungi is a kingdom. Kingdom fungi. Then this one is not a bacteria is not a kingdom, it's a domain. Domain bacteria. We don't call it kingdom bacteria, domain bacteria. Right? Understood? Fungi, that's a kingdom. This is a kingdom. A separate kingdom. If you take Protozoa belong to the same kingdom as algae. Protozoa under kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. So you can see here now both Protozoa and algae under kingdom Protista. Protista. So there are 4 kingdoms. Kingdom Animalia, kingdom Plantae, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Protista. But remember, there's nothing called kingdom Bacteria. Bacteria, that's a domain. Bacteria is a domain. Right? Protozoa kingdom Protista. Algae also kingdom Protista. And fungi kingdom, that's again it's kingdom fungi. That's a kingdom fungi. Fungus under kingdom fungi. Then next one, stored food. Algae, that is starch. What is the stored food of algae? Same as plant, that is starch. Polysaccharide, that is a polysaccharide. Then fungi, glycogen. What is the stored food of fungi? Glycogen. Even in animals like humans, so if you eat too much carbohydrate, it's become glycogen and stored in your liver. Then you get fatty liver. Too much food. If you eat a lot of food, now these days all are at home, so that means lack of exercise and consumption of more food. So everyone in the family can become slightly fat after COVID-19. Then you can get slightly fatty liver. So therefore, because you don't go to the school, you don't go out, you don't walk much, you are seated most of the time, you are seated on a chair or somewhere, then you are looking at the screen. Right? Even your parents like that because they work from home. Then bacteria, that is polysaccharide. Polysaccharide. That is a stored food. Sorry, that is not polysaccharide. Sorry, you don't have. It's no specific. This one you have to keep blank. There's no special storage form of food in protozoa and bacteria, right? Okay. Then locomotory organelles. This is very, very important. Locomotory organelles of algae, they actually they don't have a special locomotory organelle, algae, right? Because they are anyway aquatic. There's no special locomotory organelle, but sometimes they can have. If you take like Chlamydomonas, they can have flagella. There's a algae, unicellular algae called Chlamydomonas. So this Chlamydomonas has a flagella. So then we can write flagella for this. Flagella. This hair-like thing, flagella or flagellum. So this is the Chlamydomonas, unicellular algae. So this hair-like thing is known as flagella. That is for the locomotion. Flagella. Then fungi, no locomotory organelles. No locomotory organelles, so they are absent. No locomotory organelles. Or you can put across. So put across no locomotory organelles. I'll keep that blank. No special locomotory organelles, fungi. That's very important. Flagella. Then bacteria also has flagella for locomotion. Flagella. Protozoa, they can have a lot of locomotory organelles. So one is flagella. Number 2, FLAGELLA, flagella. Second one, cilia. Cilia. Third, pseudophodia. PSEU, pseudo. Pseudo means false feet. Pseudo means false. Pseudophodia. Vyajapada. Pakshma. Kashika. Flagella means kashika. Cilia means pakshma. Pseudophodia means vyajapada. Right. So these are some of the locomotory organelles of Protozoa. So flagella, example, if you take Euglena has flagella. So don't worry, we are discussing the names of the organism separately. Then next, let's see whether chlorophyll present or absent. So chlorophyll present only in algae. Chlorophyll present only in algae. All the others, chlorophyll is absent. So present and all the others no chlorophyll. That means they are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic, but one exception, some of the bacteria can be autotrophic. Only heterotrophic, exception is bacteria. Okay, up to this, shall I erase? Anyone still copying down? Right, I'll erase this. Under heterotrophic, you can write within bracket nutrition. So algae, write autotrophic. Algae, write autotrophic. Today we can complete the lesson. Algae, nutrition, autotrophic, but bacteria, all the others. I'll write here nutrition of algae, autotrophic. Or you can write within bracket photosynthetic. Within bracket write photosynthetic. Photosynthetic. Right. Algae only photosynthetic. But all the others, protozoa, fungi, then bacteria, they are heterotrophic. But you can write here a special feature. So I have one exception. Some bacteria autotrophic, chemoautotrophic. Some bacteria only autotrophic. Some bacteria are autotrophic. But that is not photoautotrophic. They are not photosynthetic. They are chemoautotrophic. You can write here within bracket. So autotrophism, there are two types: photoautotrophic and chemoautotrophic. CHEMO. Chemoautotrophic. That means they don't need sunlight. They don't need chlorophyll. They produce their own food by using chemical reactions. That's what it means. Using chemical reactions. Chemical energy is used to fulfill their energy needs. So all the fungus heterotrophic. Fungus will never become autotrophic. All the fungus heterotrophic, and all the protozoa, there's one exceptional protozoa, algae. So I'll write the exception only. Algae, under protozoa, Euglena autotrophic. Euglena means it's a protozoa. Euglena is a protozoa, autotrophic, photosynthetic. These are the two exceptions. Please try the two exceptions under all three groups, the last three groups, fungi, protozoa and bacteria. Out of all these, one exception, Euglena is a protozoa autotrophic. Euglena is a protozoa autotrophic. All the other protozoa heterotrophic. And out of the bacteria, some bacteria are autotrophic, but not in the names. All the bacteria, like most of them heterotrophic, right? So there are few exceptions, but algae all are autotrophic. None of the algae become heterotrophic, right? So their nutrition you should know. The next one, presence of unicellular or multicellular organisms. If you take algae, both and multicellular organism present, both unicellular and multicellular, both unicellular and multicellular organisms. That means some algae unicellular, example Chlamydomonas. Some algae unicellular, some algae multicellular, some algae we used as marine food, example ulva. Chinese restaurants, they use some marine algae, actually seafood. So there's something called seafood. So in some of the countries they eat more seafood than in the other countries, right? So seafood means not only from plants, seafood can from animals as well as from plants, both from animals as well as from plants. Some of the plants, like more than 70% of the earth covered by more than 70% of the earth covered by water, right? More than 70% of the earth's surface covered by water. So therefore you get protein rich algae. So then they don't need to take protein from animals, so they can take protein from algae and plants. Example, beans contain protein, long beans, legumes contain more protein. Example, mung seeds, mungat. Then dal, parippu, so rich in protein. In addition to that, long bean, wing bean, then beans, bean family. Bean family means bean, bonchi, long bean, nakara, wing beans, dambala. So these beans rich in protein because they are legumes. So that's biological, due to the biological nitrogen fixation. So that means protein contain nitrogen. How do you take nitrogen to your body? Through protein. Carbohydrate, no nitrogen. Lipids, no nitrogen. Lipids, no nitrogen. Carbohydrate, no nitrogen. So you get nitrogen to your body through proteins that you eat. So because proteins become amino acid, both amino acids and proteins contain nitrogen. If you take all the enzymes are proteins, therefore without nitrogen source you cannot have enzymes inside your body, right? Then so that's about the seafood and stuff. Next one, what is the next group? Second column I gave, I think second column I gave fungi, right? Yeah, fungi. Second column I gave fungi all are that also unicellular, multicellular and multicellular. So actually this is common to both. So this also you can write fungi also, both uni and multi. I'll write in short form both uni and multi. Uni and multi means what? Unicellular and multicellular, both the organisms. Some fungi unicellular, some fungi multicellular, right? Example, if you take mushrooms, there are different types of mushrooms. So they are visible to a naked eye. So reproductive stage visible to a naked eye, fungus. The mushrooms means one of the stage of their life cycle, the reproductive stage. Then next one I give the third column, bacteria. So I have given the heading of the column bacteria, right? Bacteria all are unicellular, no multicellular bacteria, all are unicellular. All the bacteria unicellular, all are unicellular. Then last one, protozoa. All are unicellular. That means all are microscopic, all are unicellular. Unicellular means one cell. The entire organism is made of one cell. You all are unicellular. Understood? So therefore, under fungi and algae, you get both unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Now latecomers, those who join late, we are doing page number 9, right? Page number 9, this number 20, right? Microorganisms. Okay, those who join late. Next part. We miss one here, right? Nucleus we didn't do. I think nucleus we couldn't do. Sorry about that. Nucleus we have to discuss. Nucleus I didn't complete. Nutrition we discussed, but not the nucleus, I think. Can you complete the nucleus one also? I forgot that, sorry. Nucleus present to absent you had to write. With the nucleus present to absent you had to write. I'll complete that again. Nucleus, I'll put a right tick across. Algae nucleus present. Nucleus present, therefore you can write here present and they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic. Nucleus present and eukaryotic. Therefore eukaryotic. Then fungi also you can write. Fungi also eukaryotic, because nucleus present. If nucleus present, they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic. But next one, bacteria. Bacteria no nucleus. Bacteria no nucleus. Therefore bacteria prokaryotic. Very, very important. Prognostic. Prokaryotic. Eukaryotic means soon-nestic. Right. Then last one, protozoa. No? Last column is protozoa. Protozoa eukaryotic. That means organized nucleus present. Eukaryotic. That means out of all these, the least developed group will be what? The least developed group will be prokaryotic group, bacteria. But widely distributed. Now these days we are suffering because of viruses. The whole world lockdown. I mean, like, controlled by virus. Invisible virus control rule the world these days. So sometime in the future there can be bacteria also. So therefore the microorganisms more powerful. What is the largest group of organisms in the world? Largest in number, microorganisms. If you take 1 gram of soil, millions of bacteria. Around your body there are so many microorganisms now. Your face, your inside your mouth, inside your body, everywhere microorganisms. Right? If you take your urine, there can be microorganisms sometimes if you have got an infection. So that's why yes, most of them are not harmful. They are not strong enough to go because of your immunity. But if your immunity become, now it doesn't mean you have, just because of you are not having any symptoms, it doesn't mean no microorganisms in your body, you have not got infected. Some of you have already got infected from various bacteria. You might have got infected from various viruses, but the viral flu there, dengue virus there, normal viral flu there, then coronavirus there. So then the virus might enter into your body, but if you have good immunity, then the virus cannot win from this competition. So your body, the cells will win. They will tolerate. They will be able to handle it. But if you are not taking healthy diet, if you are not doing exercise, and if you have weak organs, if you are not practicing good health habits, then you can get infected easily. Example, those who are smoking can get infected easily. Those who have in blood sugar or diabetics, they can get infected easily and can go to complications. Right. Therefore, those things also matters. Whether you are going to die from the virus or not. So that also matters. So therefore, from the small days, the way that you have to consume food and your lifestyles, that also matters for this. Right. Now, next one. Okay, union multi I told you, but anyway, I'll quickly write that. Okay. First column I gave I can't show from time, but anyway, the first column I gave algae. Okay, so algae autotrophic, eukaryotic, and next algae. Both union multi. So shall I write in short form? Both union multi. Both union multi. Both. I'll write common to both these. Then it's easy. Both union multicellular. Then it's easy. Both union multicellular. Yeah, common to both, right? Both unicellular and multicellular organisms are present in algae and fungi. Both unicellular and multicellular. because of these common characteristics, I put algae and fungi close to each other, the first two columns. Then this one, all are unicellular. All are unicellular. All are unicellular. Understood? All are unicellular. That means algae and fungi, multicellular algae there, unicellular algae present. Unicellular fungus there, multicellular fungus there. But when it's come to Protozoa and bacteria, all are unicellular. All are unicellular. Common to both. The next one, uses. What are the uses of algae? They are the producers in the aquatic environment. The main producers, primary producers in aquatic environment. In the aquatic environment, who produce food? Who produce food? Algae. In aquatic environment, and release oxygen. In aquatic environment, I put ENV, aquatic environment, and release oxygen. And release oxygen by photosynthesis, release O2. So the aquatic organisms get O2 because of algae. We get O2 because of terrestrial plants. Again, I am repeating that sentence. You breathe now because of the terrestrial plants, right? Terrestrial plants. Aquatic organism get oxygen from the algae plus dissolve oxygen in water. So what are the two sources of oxygen in aquatic environment? Certain amount of oxygen get dissolved in water because oxygen is slightly soluble in water. Example, aquarium. If you have a fish tank, if there are aquatic plants, in your aquarium, that is a benefit daytime. Why? They release oxygen by photosynthesis. But if there are no aquatic plants, then how oxygen come into water? There are two methods. Either artificially you have to aerate the tank. Or you have to, oxygen get naturally dissolved. So this is that's how oxygen come into water, because aquatic organisms, they get oxygen from water. Now any of your screen is blurred, right, or not clear. That means you have a unstable internet connection. Sometimes you can hear my voice, but the screen is not clear. That means the shared screen become blur or not clear the letter. So if you don't have a stable internet connection, then you can request the recording even though you have joined the lesson, because I am taking the attendance. Then you can send, sir, I couldn't see some of the parts in the screen, or I had a unstable internet connection, and you can request the recording with your email address. So you work in email address, right? So then you have to sign into, because sometimes I share the Zoom cloud recording. Sometimes I'll share my YouTube channel the recording, but privately, not like I will not make it public, right? Okay. Then you have to sign into your YouTube with the maybe your parents, or but mostly within 3 days, if you can watch it, then you can use the Zoom cloud recording, right? Then next one, but you can't request the recording after 2-3 weeks, right? So immediately before the next class you have to watch it. Then next one, uses of fungi. There are so many uses, very useful. Fungi, example, mushrooms, edible fungus, edible as food for man. Example, right? Mushrooms, mushroom we can eat, mushroom fungus. Then bakery industry, yeast, right? Used to make bakery products, or production of bread or bakery items. I don't know whether you have space. If you have no space to write all this, you can write this separately at the very bottom. Production of bread. If you only write within bracket, yeast. Then third one you can write under fungus, production of alcohol, bread, alcohol production. Alcohol also we use again yeast. I'll write bread. Then you can understand our bakery items, not only bread, cake, right? String hoppers, buns. Buns also there are different types. Kimbula bun, zini bun, like there are different all these any bakery like the puffy one, including cake. So bakery items, bakery industry, they use yeast. Alcohol industry, they use yeast for the fermentation, that process called fermentation. Anaerobic activity of fungus, so anaerobic respiration. So there are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic, with oxygen and without oxygen. With oxygen and without oxygen. Alcohol production, bakery industry, or production of bread used directly as food. In addition to that, production of antibiotics. There is one of the very useful antibiotic production. One of the, if you want, you can write what is the first first discovered antibiotic in the world. Penicillin. Right? If you want, you can write that separately. Penicillin. Penicillin is the first discovered antibiotic in the world by Alexander Fleming. Penicillin. So penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming. That is the first discovered antibiotic. So penicillin was extracted from a fungus called Penicillium. Penicillium. Can you please write all this in your short notebook? Write everyone. First discovered antibiotic penicillin, extracted from the fungus Penicillium. Penicillium. Penicillin antibiotic from Penicillium fungus. Fungus Penicillium. Penicillium fungus to produce penicillin antibiotic. That is the first discovered antibiotic in the world. First discovered antibiotic. Who discovered this? That also you should know. Alexander Fleming. First discovered antibiotic by Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming. Lot of information. Who produced penicillin? Fungus. What is penicillin? An antibiotic. Antibiotic used against whom? Against the bacteria. Produced by fungus, used against bacteria. Very important. Produced by one group and used against different group. Produced by fungus, what? Penicillin. And used against bacteria. Example, when you get sore throat. Sore throat caused by a bacteria. Sore throat caused by a bacteria. Then doctors prescribe you what? Amoxicillin. Or there are some commercial brands called Augmentin. Sore throat. To fight against the bacteria, you get antibiotic produced by fungus. So, but now most of the antibiotics, but the problem is antibiotics are not going to work against viruses. Antibiotics are not effective against viruses. That's the problem. Now, AIDS, virus disease, no medicine, no antibiotic. Corona, antibiotics not going to work. Viral flu, if you get chikungunya, example, chickenpox, antibiotics not going to work. But you can, for most of the viral diseases, they produce vaccine, rubella vaccine, right? Chickenpox vaccine, right? But AIDS, dengue, they couldn't still found, they couldn't find a vaccine, right? For AIDS, so far, no, so long time back, AIDS, no, still what they couldn't. But COVID-19 also, this vaccine is there, but who can guarantee this corona vaccine? There are 5 vaccines they use in Sri Lanka, but those who have got the vaccine, they can get infected. Those who have got the vaccine, they can transmit the disease. Those who have got the vaccines, even both the vaccines, they also can die, right? So no doctor can tell 100% if you get this vaccine you will not die 100%. Can anyone confirm? Can't. Can any doctor in the world can confirm if you get both the vaccines you will never get infected? Can't. Can any doctor tell if you get both the vaccines you will not transfer that to anyone? No one can tell. No one can tell. If you find, tell me. No one still can confirm 100%. No. They will tell the risk is less. That's it. But you can transfer. And the other instance, can anyone guarantee 100% if you get vaccine only once, that's enough for lifetime? No one can guarantee. They are in 3rd dose, 4th dose. So that is like a big billion scale business, this vaccine, right? Billion scale big business. Who earn this money? Developed countries become more rich. Third world countries flat, right? Where definitely they get corrupt. I mean, kind of, economically bankrupt with this situation. So there's a risk for Sri Lanka also. Okay, that is, but I didn't tell not to take the vaccine just because of that. But anyway, no one, still no one. But and no medicine also. No medicine. No medicine. Vaccine is not a medicine, right? Vaccine is not a medicine. That is to increase your immunity, right? Immunity, or to produce antibodies. To produce antibodies against the virus, right? Next one. Okay, I told now. Uses of fungus. Used as food, used to make bakery items, bread, buns, cake, even string hoppers. That's why doctors advise this yeast added. Now if you are taking Ayurvedic medicine, just after taking the Ayurvedic medicine or kasaya, you eat a bun. That is no point. Then that we call it fermentation, means specimen, right? That is actually those who are suffering from gastritis, that is not good because of added yeast. But instead of yeast, sometimes they use baking soda. Baking soda. What is the alternative for yeast? Baking soda. What is baking soda? Sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3. If you don't know, right? Yeast and baking soda both the same function, but baking soda chemical substance, sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3. What is the alternative? Don't write here because we are write something else, but you can write that separately. Sodium bicarbonate means baking powder or baking soda. Bakery industry it is used, or they can use yeast. Then next one, what is the third column? I think you can look at those who have got the printout, you can look at the heading. How many of you have got the printout of this tute? Please raise the hand. How many of you have got the printout of this tute, theory tute? At least black and white one. There are more than around 65 students, out of them at least more than around 50. Very good. Okay, nearly 50 students. Okay, very good. Right. Around 50 students we have got it, right? Then you can, okay. Then you have the hard copy with you, you can complete on the tute itself. Then bacteria, you can write. Bacteria, there are a lot of uses again. Right? Bacteria, there are a lot of uses again. What are the uses of bacteria? Bacteria you can use to make vinegar industry, to production of vinegar. I'll write it only the word. You can write out to make vinegar or to produce vinegar or used in vinegar industry. Production of vinegar, we need bacteria, Acetobacter bacteria. Then in addition to that, bacteria is useful to make dairy products. So bakery item, we call it dairy products, means curd, production of yogurt, right? Curd, yogurt, production of curd, yogurt, curd. Then in addition to that, bacteria is used. Some bacteria used for antibiotics production also. Some bacteria used for the antibiotics production also. Then in addition to that, biogas production. We are using bacteria for biogas production also. Biogas production. Right here, biogas. Then the other one you can write, biogas means methane or CH4 biogas, methane. Notice that we use bacteria to make compost fertilizers. To make organic fertilizers, we use bacteria. See, there are a lot of advantages of bacteria. At the same time, they cause deadly diseases also. And both bacteria and fungus act as decompose. I don't have specified if you want to write, but decompose waste matter and organic waste matter. Act as decomposers. Decompose waste materials. That also environmentally very important. Otherwise, your dead body will remain as it is forever. After the death of organism, plants and animals, the dead body will remain as it is. So therefore, they play very important role. So after the death of organisms, so garbages decompose. Both bacteria and fungus act as decomposers, decompose waste matter. Then the soil become fertile. Okay. So that also you can add for both bacteria and fungi, decompose waste matter or organic waste or dead bodies of plants and animals. Understood? Right. Then next one. Shall I erase this? Then harmful effects. Harmful effects. So you can write algae, excessive algae. Excess algae can cause eutrophication. In aquatic environment, too much algae problem. Excess algae can pollute water. Excess algae cause water pollution. May cause water pollution. Excess algae can cause water pollution because sometimes have you all seen even in Bear Lake in Colombo, some students those who are joining from Kurunagala, Kandy, there are students joining from out of Colombo, but those who are in Colombo, you know this Bear Lake in Colombo, Bear Vava, right? And yeah, it's near the Fort railway station. You can see water turns green. Not Bear Vava or Bear Lake. You can take you can do a simple experiment like this. You take sample of rainwater into a bottle, okay, and then take a sample of tap water into a bottle, and you close the lid and keep this for few weeks or even few months, and check in which bottle water turns green first. Definitely the rainwater one, the water turns green before tap water. Why water become green? If you don't clean the aquarium, the tank, fish tank, water can turn green with time because the fecal matter or the excretory products of this aquatic organism, so the fish in the tank contain nitrate ion, nitrogen sources. Then algae growth increase, algae present. So algae not visible to a naked eye, but algae very important, but too much algae, that's a problem because that can cause water pollution. Water turns green. When water become green, light cannot penetrate into water. Then oxygen cannot dissolve in water. When algae float in on the surface like a green carpet. Sometimes in some of the lakes you can see the entire lake get covered by salvinia, Japan jabber, invasive plant, rapid growth. So then mechanically you have to remove them. So they invade the entire environment, the surface of the lake covered by some invasive plants. Then sunlight cannot penetrate into water. Then oxygen cannot dissolve in water. Then the organisms will die. Then to decompose those dead bodies, microorganism population increase. Right? Then you get the bad smell from that environment. The loss of the beauty of the reservoir, loss of the biodiversity. So all these issues can arise if algae growth increase. The same thing, same scenario, due to the leak around Express Diamond or something, there was the huge the ship got faced with an accident, and there was a leakage of oil and various chemicals to the the Sri Lankan waters recently. I think you watched that in the news. So that also the same scenario. The oil, when oil floats on the surface of aquatic environment, on the surface of water, so oxygen cannot dissolve because of the oil layer. Then organisms oxygen level decrease, then they will die due to the lacking of oxygen. Then these chemicals and oil can block the gills karamal of the aquatic organisms, so the fish, and then that also can cause death, right? Okay, so these are the issues. So then marine pollution, environmental pollution. Okay. So harmful effects of algae, I told you what are the harmful effects. Excessive growth can cause water pollution. Excessive growth of algae can cause water pollution. There's a single term for that, eutrophication. Excessive growth may cause water pollution. Excessive growth causes water pollution. You can write within bracket eutrophication. There's a single term for this grade 11 this under environmental pollution. Eutrophication, EUTRO, eutrophication. Water become green, and a lot of consequences. But anyway, in the grade 10 they will not ask that word. Just write too much algae growth can cause water pollution because Oxygen level in water goes down, light cannot penetrate into water, organisms will die. Then microorganism population increase to decompose those dead bodies. When there are more waste, more microorganisms. Why? They only come and decompose. Right? That means if you have a dead body in your, maybe like, now if there are 5 members in your family, then there will be 5 deaths in one day in your family. There will be 5 funerals. In other words, right? If there are 5 members in your family, there will be 5 funerals. There will be 5 coffins. So if it is kept in the house, so then what happens? If there's a dead body, more microorganisms get attracted to this dead body, because that is their duty. They will decompose this dead body. That means microorganism population is more around the places where more germs present. So maybe your toilet full of germs, right? Because they come and decompose. Toilet pit, fecal matter, so that also decomposed by bacteria. Therefore, there are a lot of microorganisms. That's why from those places you get bad smell. So that helps to keep us away. You don't like the bad smell. You don't like the bad smell. When the municipal council, the tractor or the garbage collecting one goes near that, when that one goes near your house, you get a smell. So then you run away from that. You don't like that smell. That means that place full of germs, that means full of microorganisms. Right? So without microorganisms, they will be left as it is forever. Then dead bodies, wherever you dig the soil, you will find a dead body, right? But that dead body get decomposed. Not only humans, plants also die, animals also die. So they are decomposed by microorganisms. So that's a very important role, right? Microorganisms. Then that is the real truth, right? Okay. Then decompose. What are the advantages of this? What is the fungus? No, decompose organic waste, or decompose dead organic matter, dead organisms and waste matter. Right, dead organisms, decompose dead bodies of organisms and waste matter. Right, decompose. That is not harmful. Oh, wait, that is harmful. Sorry, that is, we are writing now uses, no harmful effects I gave. So uses I gave, decomposition I gave. Okay, harmful effects you can write cause diseases. Okay, fungus, right? Cause diseases to man and the other animals. Cause diseases to humans, to man and other animals, even plants. Some fungus can cause the disease to plants. So plant diseases to man, animals and plants. So you can write all three. Example, you have aluhum. Aluhum is not a, it's a disease, but it's not a deadly disease. Aluhum, it's a that's a fungal disease. Okay, then harmful effects. I'll erase the screen and move back down. I have given some examples also. The diseases caused by bacteria. These are the diseases caused by, diseases caused by bacteria. So these are the harmful effects. There are so many diseases caused by bacteria to man. I no need to write that one. That one I have given here. Diseases. If you can write, these are the diseases caused by bacteria. No need to write that separately. Previous one I explained. Right. Tetanus, pittagasma, tuberculosis, Sherroge, pneumonia. You get COVID pneumonia, sore throat, ugrema, diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, atisare, pachane, gonorrhea caused by bacteria, syphilis caused by, that is called STD. You can put a curly bracket for gonorrhea and syphilis. These two are known as STD. What is STD? Sexually transmitted diseases. What is STD? Sexually transmitted diseases. Known as sexually transmitted disease. Then botulism and diphtheria, galapatalaya. Botulism, foodborne, and what? Diphtheria, that is nervous system. So that is this is for your respiratory system. Cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, this is your digestive system. digestive system. Right? So this tuberculosis, pneumonia, all these, even sore throat also part of your digestive system. Pneumonia, respiratory system, COVID pneumonia, that bacteria attack the respiratory tract, respiratory system. Tetanus, nervous system, tetanus, pitagasm, rusted iron nail. If you get injured by a rusted iron nail, you have to get the vaccine, tetanus vaccine. Pitagasm, in singular we call it pitaga. That is a deadly one, tetanus. Rusted iron nail, if you get injured, you have to get you have to get the injection. Tetanus, nervous system. Now you can, there is additional information. Okay, now you can see some bacteria attack your nervous system, some bacteria attack your digestive system, right? Not pneumonia, some attack your respiratory system. Now COVID virus attack your respiratory system. That's why you cover your nose and mouth. You cover your nose and mouth because they can enter your respiratory tract through the throat and the nose. Then pneumonia, tuberculosis, and pneumonia both. If you can put a curly bracket and write tuberculosis and pneumonia both respiratory system. Actually this diphtheria also respiratory, diphtheria galapatale. Then digestive, sexual, that is this botulism also actually digestive, botulism. And syphilis, gonorrhea, reproductive system associated diseases. Gonorrhea and syphilis, reproductive organs associated disease, that is why we call it STD, sexually transmitted diseases. But they can later affect to the other organs. Example, you get corona, you die from a heart attack, right? Sometimes the people get infected with the coronavirus, but then at the end they die from a heart attack. So because it can form blood clots. Blood clots can be formed by the vaccine also. Now there are, and remember, no one can tell any medicine in the world is no side effects. No one, even paracetamol has side effects. Therefore vaccine also has side effects. This vaccine also has side effects, right? There are a lot of side effects. So no one can guarantee. Who can tell me the vaccine has no side effects? If you get headache, that also a side effect. If you get vomitous feeling, that also side effect of the medicine, right? If you get fever after getting the vaccine, some people get fever, that also a side effect, right? But side effects may not be deadly, but some side effects can be life threatening. Some side effects can be life threatening. Example, sometimes before giving a vaccine or injection, doctors, are you allergic to any medicine? Have you ever heard, before prescribing antibiotics, they ask, are you allergic to any medicine? If you say yes, doctor, I am allergic to amoxicillin, then doctor will not tell. If you tell no, I am not allergic to any medicine, you can give anything, then you don't know you are allergic or not, therefore you simply say no, then you get the vaccine, doctor will give the vaccine and you will die. Then you can't blame the doctor, right? So doctor not having magical power to check whether you are allergic for any medicine without doing any experiment or without any clinical test, right? Therefore you have to tell. So I am some of you are allergic for peanuts, some people they are allergic for pineapple, some are allergic for peanuts, you are allergic for different fruits, or some are allergic for say prawns, some are allergic for cuttlefish. So therefore they have allergy, food allergy. So you have to explore these things. So this is called scientific literacy. Sometimes you might not continue science after O level, then that is the end of your science. So then you do O level arts and commerce. So then you should have this scientific literacy. So in a pandemic situation like this, scientific literacy of the people in the country very important when controlling the disease. Some countries, they have controlled the disease not from the vaccine, because of the scientific literacy of the people. They practice the health guidelines and they don't violate these health guidelines. So they nicely control. There are countries in the world, some countries you don't hear the name in any news, no? So they have nicely controlled that, not only from the vaccine, right? Then amoebiasis and malaria. Malaria caused by protozoa. Vector is a mosquito, like same as dengue, caused by protozoa called plasmodium, caused by plasmodium protozoa. Plasmodium, there's a protozoa called plasmodium. Plasmodium is not a virus. Plasmodium protozoa, Plasmodium, caused by Plasmodium protozoa. Protozoa. Malaria, amoeba is caused by amoeba. Then amoeba is related with your it's foodborne and waterborne disease. Plus plasmodium is the protozoa which cause malaria, and the vector who transmit this plasmodium to your body by mosquitoes. Vector will be the mosquito. Female mosquito. Vector is female mosquito. Female mosquito. Female mosquito. Called Culex. Culex. The name of the female mosquito, Culex mosquitoes. Okay. So therefore, there are diseases caused by microorganisms. Now, bacteria also cause disease, fungus also cause disease, and then protozoa also cause disease, and then viruses also. Any group of microorganism can cause the disease. At the same time, there are more benefits of microorganism also. Now, example, when you are eating cheese, when you are eating marmite, a product of this microorganism industry. The example, this cheese, you need microorganisms. Butter, then yogurt, bakery items, microorganisms are widely used in food industry. So therefore, the microbiologists are working. They can become the consultant for these food manufacturing industries, quality controllers. So that is the end of this microorganism part. But the next page I have given some of the examples. So now you didn't learn some images under each group. So you learned the first algae. What is the first group you learned? Algae in the previous page. Look at the next page, everyone. Algae, there are three types: green algae, red algae, brown algae. Now example, Red Sea. Why Red Sea is red? Because of red algae. Example, Red Sea, Ratu Muhuda. Red Sea. There's something called Dead Sea also, no? Malamuhuda. Dead Sea, why it is Dead Sea? Sea is not dead. There are less organisms in the Dead Sea because of high salt concentration. They get dehydrated, even the microorganisms. Okay. So why the water turns green in a lake? Because of green algae. So therefore algae can be classified according to the color also. And you get this agar from red algae. Red algae is used to get a gelatin agar. Agar is used to make gelatin also. So right here under number 21, write algae. Right? What is the name? Algae. So there are different, like, you don't need to memorize all the examples. I'll show you after this A-level biology resource book also for some extra additional information. Algae, what is the group? To which kingdom they belongs? If you don't know, right, what is the kingdom? Algae belongs to kingdom. They can ask these things in the exam. If you don't know, write it. Algae belongs to which kingdom? Kingdom Protista. If you don't know, write about this. Kingdom Protista. Previous pages I told, repeated I told this. These from these areas you are getting questions. Protista. T-I-S-T-A. Protista. And algae under which domain? Domain Eukarya. So any group you should know to which domain they belongs and to which kingdom they belongs. That is very, very important. These are the areas where you can get questions. Domain Eukarya. Kingdom Protista, algae, right? So these chlamydomonas, please label, this is called flagella. What is this called? Flagella. That is for the locomotion. Flagella. And these chlamydomonas, unicellular algae. There are multicellular also, algae also. Unicellular, one cell, entire organism, one cell. Unicellular. One cell become an organism. Then Spirogyra, so all these chlorophyll products. Ulva, I told you this is marine food. Rich in protein. Chinese restaurants, they use this marine food. But all the seaweeds are not marine food. They cannot be used. Some of them can be poisonous. There are poisonous plants. If you use kaneru water, all in the red beet's mother tier, so you will die. Vendaru. So they are highly poisonous. Plant poisons are there. If you eat a few milligrams of this red beets, mother tea, and we call it olinda, highly poisonous. But if you swallow this, if you just swallow the seed, it will come from your from the other end, from your rectum and anus, as the same acid is, because then the content inside the seed is not digested. If you just swallow the seed, no problem, you will not die. But if you bite the seed and swallow, then you will die. You understand what I'm saying? The poisonous seeds, poisonous seeds like mother tear, Kaneru at mother tear, and then what is it called, red beet, mother tear, then Olinda. I don't know how many of you have seen Olinda, but in the reproduction lesson I'll tell you that they are very attractive. Sometimes the kids in the grades 1, 2, 3 they use this Olinda atom Madhya, so various activities, assignment they use this. But accidentally, if some teachers they don't know about that, if they bite this inside the mouth, then it can cause death. Plant poison, sometimes more poisonous than the venom of serpents, right? Some of the seeds, right? So same as that in the marine environment also there can be, say example, jellyfish poisonous, right? Coelantrates like that. Okay, then not all the jellyfish, right? Spirogyra. So these are the examples. No need to they will never ask you to draw it, but Chlamydia monoprotista, that is bit important because unicellular algae, it has flagella, locomotory organelle flagella, hair like thing, right? Chlamydia monas you have to remember. Then next group, who are these? Bacteria. You can see the screen. Next day I will use the PowerPoint slide also, but today I want to finish this part. What is bacteria? Bacteria is a kingdom or domain. Bacteria will be a domain. Bacteria is a domain, not a kingdom, right? Bacteria, if you want to write domain, that's a domain. Bacteria has these parts highlight because sometimes you have done the plant cell and the animal cell. Okay, let's see the similarities between bacterial cell and the plant cell. Ribosomes present in both. Animal cell, plant cell also has ribosomes, bacteria also has ribosomes. Cytoplasm present in both, right? Then cell membrane present in both. Then the other one, now these three, the ones that are highlighted, actually this chromosome is not actually, we don't call it chromosome, we call it circular DNA. This bacterial DNA, we don't call it, because everything that you download from the internet not 100% correct, so I'll erase this one. Actually this should be circular DNA, right? Then cell wall is present. That's a similarity between plant cell and animal cell. If you want to write in the exam, if you imagine you get a question like this, write down a similarity between bacterial cell and the plant cell. What to write? Cell wall is present in both. Cell wall is present in both. Now you get a question, write down two similarities between bacterial cell and animal cell. What is the answer? Ribosome present in both. Cell membrane present in both. Cytoplasm present in both. Understood? Right. Then what are the other unique features? So animal cell no flagella, but plant, this one has flagella, and this DNA circular DNA. This is called chromatin sometimes. So then no nucleus here. Our chromosomes inside the nucleus, but bacteria chromosome not in, or the DNA not inside the nucleus. And the other most important, bacteria no Golgi complex, no ER. Then the organelles, membrane bound organelles are not present. Membrane bound organelles are not present in the bacteria. Okay. Other than the ribosome, no membrane. Ribosomes, no membrane. The next part, can you all see here? Bacteria can be classified according to the shapes. Cocci or coccus, bacilli, rod shape, spherical shape, then spiral shape, and the comma shape. So bacteria, there are different types: comma shape, rod shape. So this is called comma shape. So this is spherical shape bacteria, cocci. There can be now few diploca. Diplo means two cells combined. So this pneumococci cause pneumonia. Can you see here? This is the pneumonia caused by this bacteria. So that bacteria is spherical in shape. Pneumonia caused in bacteria. That is why the name also originated with the disease cause. Spherical one. Then this is rod shape. Bacilli means rod shape. Rod shape. Dandakar. Rod shape. Dandakar. Then spiral shape. Number 3. That is Treponema pallidum. That is a disease caused by this one. Streptococcus. That is Spiral shape. Spiral shape. So bacteria can be classified according. This is comma shape. It's like a comma. Number. Now it should be number 4. No, that is number 4. Bacteria can be classified according to the shape. So this Mycobacterium, this by rod-shaped bacteria, Pseudomonas, and Pseudomonas is a bacteria, useful bacteria. This is called denitrification. Mycobacterium, this is called TB. TB means tuberculosis, Share caused by this bacteria, TB. Tetani, this bacteria causes tetanus disease. Tetanus, that is comma-shaped one. Tetanus disease caused by this bacteria. This Mycobacterium tuberculosis caused by tuberculosis, Share caused by this bacteria. Right? Understood? Now, this is how now you don't need to memorize this. No need to memorize. Just remember there are 4 different shapes of bacteria. Or bacteria can be classified according to the shape. Spherical means cocci. Bacilli means bacilli is plural. Cocci is plural. Coccus, bacillus, dandakara. Or bacilli plural. Right. Streptococcus is streptococci. Right. Okay. Then that is about bacteria. All are unicellular, all are heterotrophic, but few can be autotrophic out of the bacteria. Bacteria, one of the most widely distributed group of organism in the earth. Very like everywhere, found in everywhere, not like plants and animals. Then let's move to the next part. What is that? What is kingdom fungi? Kingdom fungi. That's a kingdom. Fungi is a kingdom. Or fungus, that's a kingdom. Now this kingdom fungi, you can see here mushrooms. That is the actually what is the scientific term used for the mushrooms? Agaricus. What is it called? Agaricus. Right here, agaricus. Agaricus within bracket, right? Mushrooms. That is a reproductive stage. This is the reproductive stage of the fungus. Reproductive stage or reproductive structure, because the mushrooms, some mushrooms are edible, but some mushrooms are poisonous. All the mushrooms you can't eat. Some mushrooms are poisonous. The next one, agaricus or mushrooms. What about this? This you will pus, palm pus. So that is we call it. It's actually this fungus is called mucor, harmful one. Mucor is a harmful fungus. Mucor. So agaricus useful fungus. So fungus can be useful or harmful. So this agaricus useful. A is useful. This one is harmful fungus. Why? The spoilage of food. Harmful fungus. Did I tell? If I don't know whether you have copy down under what is this? Previous table under harmful effects, you can write this spoilage of food. For both bacteria and fungus, right? Spoilage of food, right? And fruits. Right. Then this the last one you can see. This is again mucor. Spoilage of food. This is pus. Right? You can see here. That is the reproductive stage again. Now, if you don't remove this, what happened? They release spores from this. There's a black colored one. First you get like cotton wool, like silky outgrowth. After that it turns black. Black means what? They release some spores. We call them because they have asexual reproduction. These are called spores. These spores will land on the other fruits. They also get spoiled. Therefore, in a fruit bucket, like the basket of fruits, if you have some rotten or spoiled one, immediately you have to remove that. Otherwise, this one will release. They start increasing their population. Any organism, they tend. I mean, their main aim to invade that environment from their kind, from their. From them. I mean, from the same group. They try to invade. So we also like that. We also like that. The animals also like that. Plants also like that. For example, weeds, unwanted plants in your garden, weeds, vulpellati, right? So they are invading they don't let the other plants to grow sometimes. They rapidly grow. Salvinia in the lake. So it's rapid growth like a cancer. So we call it invasive plant, Akramanika shaka, like salvinia. So therefore fungus can be useful as well as harmful. Previous page I told what are the other examples for fungus. Any other useful fungus? In the exam, if you get a question, write down 2 useful fungus to man. So yeast is a useful fungus. Then you can write penicillin also. Penicillium, so not penicillin is antibiotic, penicillium is a useful fungus. So if you only can write in a short notebook separately, useful fungus, yeast, penicillium, then agaricus. Harmful fungus, right, mucor. Now this is the most interesting thing. To make bread also you need fungus, and the same one is destroyed by the fungus. Made from fungus is spoiled from fungus. That's the most interesting thing. Made use of fungus, that is yeast, and is spoiled also from fungus. See, that is very interesting. No? The bread, yeast is required to make bread. At the same time, that bread is spoiled by some other group of fungus, some other type of fungus, like example mucor. Okay. Can you remember this? Recently there was a kind of a big issue like in the market, the coconut oil, aflatoxins. In coconut oil, the people are scared to eat these, even the sweets and all, out of the season also, because of what? That is also released from, that is carcinogenic, cancer causing. So some fungus are releasing like aflatoxins from carcinogenic, that also from fungus. These aflatoxins, it can cause cancers. Example, mudu, the rancidity, mudu echa poltel can contain this one, or puskabu kevum, right, like that. Aflatoxins present in these peanuts. You get, when you are eating peanuts, you get muduraha, so that is not good to eat. Don't wash it. So you can't, how long you heat, you can't destroy aflatoxins. By heating you can't destroy this carcinogen. Carcinogen means what? Carcinogen means cancer causing agents. Okay, so that also come from fungus. Example, this what is this called, coconut, the edible part, we call it polmade, or what is this, fungus can grow on that, and can release these chemicals. Oily food can contain, fungus can grow. Dodol, puskapu kevum, puskapu ratakaju, like, because the peanuts contain lipid, so they are rich in lipids, so peanuts, so then fungus can easily grow and release these carcinogenic chemicals, right? So that's also important. That's why this is called virgin coconut oil, that is physically refined. Virgin coconut oil, that is no risk, lower risk of getting alpha, but is expensive. Virgin coconut oil. Okay, next one, last group, Protozoa. Now this Protozoa, right, domain, right, Eukarya. What is the domain? Eukarya. To which domain it belongs? Eukaryotic domain. And what is the kingdom? Kingdom Protista. Any group you should know to which domain and which kingdom. Kingdom Protista. Right. Domain Eukarya and kingdom Protista. Okay. Now there are 4 organs. These 4, all 4 you have to remember. Put 3 stars. All the names you have to remember. You can get them in the exam. And Euglena, right, photosynthetic. So the first one is photosynthetic. This one is photosynthetic because chlorophyll present. All the protozoa are not photosynthetic. There is one exception. Please write below Euglena photosynthetic. That means chlorophyll present. Photosynthetic within bracket chlorophyll present. Autotrophic. Chlorophyll present. Photosynthetic. And this one label locomotory organelle flagella. This locomotory organelle is known as flagella. Right. Then paramecium, put an arrow toward this and label. There are cilia, these tiny hair like things around that. Sometimes you can get line diagrams of these pictures in the exam. Line diagrams of these pictures you can get in the exam for labeling and identification. Plasmodium, this is a parasitic one, parasite. Plasmodium is a parasite. And it causes the disease malaria. Malaria caused by Plasmodium, and vector is female mosquito. This amoeba, this pointed ends, that is known as pseudophodia. What is it called? Pseudophodia. Right, pseudophodia. Right. So what are the 4 examples under Protozoa? Euglena, Paramecium, Plasmodium and amoeba. Locomotory organelle, you have to remember: flagella, cilia, pseudophodia. These are the 3 locomotory organelle. Pseudo means viaja, pods means feet, that means false feet. And all are eukaryotic, they all have nucleus, and they belongs to kingdom Protista. And only Euglena autotrophic, all the others are heterotrophic. And this Plasmodium lives in your blood. Plasmodium lives in your blood if you get the disease malaria. Paramecium aquatic, Euglena also. How can you observe all 3? I don't know whether you can remember under group chapter 6, so you put a sample of fresh water. Pond water can contain all aquatic. Pond water might contain, except malaria, all the 3 can be pond water. Hay extract, pidru palkala jalaya, hay extract, you can observe this. You can observe them under microscope. They are visible under light microscope, right? They are visible under light microscope. There's a practical, I don't know whether you can remember this hay extract, what you can use to observe these 3 groups under light microscope. Okay, that is the end of microorganisms. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copying down? They will not give colorful diagrams. Line diagram, that's why I put 3 stars. Line diagram they can give one from one cell. I mean, they can make a soup in the exam, right? They will give one diagram for bacteria, and the other from one from fungus, and the other one from bacteria, protozoa, and they'll ask to which group they belongs. They will go XYZ, to which kingdom they belongs, to which domain they belongs. Write down a difference between X and Y, or A and B. That's how you get the questions. Otherwise, you will never get a question. Write down an essay about kingdom Animalia. Write down an essay about kingdom Protista. Write down all the characteristics of Protozoa. You don't get such questions under new syllabus. Right? Comparison, how to contrast, how to compare, how to evaluate, how to synthesize, how to organize. So that is what those skills they check, higher level. Right? Okay. Then let's move back to the next one. What are economical importances of fungi? Okay, now you know this. Quickly we will finish this. Earlier also I told economical importances of fungus. Right. One example, you can write production of used in bakery industry. Used in bakery industry. Used to make bakery items or bakery products. Example, right? Yeast. Example, you can write bread, buns, like that, cake. Okay. What is the fungus they use? Here they use yeast. Yeast is a fungus, useful fungus. Saccharomyces cerevisiae, scientific name. Then number 2 you can write second use of fungus, economical importance. You can write production of antibiotics. Production of antibiotics. Quickly write this, antibiotics. What is the antibiotic? You can write example penicillin. 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 Then third one you can write used as food, used as supplementary for protein. That is, if you want to write that as food, within bracket you can put a slash, right? Protein supplement. Protein supplement. Example, right? Mushrooms. Mushrooms. In as a decomposition of dead bodies and waste materials. At number 4, decomposition of dead bodies of plants and animals. Decomposition of dead bodies of plants and animals. Dead bodies of plants and animals, or dead bodies of organisms. Just write dead bodies and the waste materials and other organic waste. Dead bodies and other waste, organic waste, or kitchen waste, toilet waste, like that. That's why no one is putting. Okay, I'll give one example. Have you ever heard adding chemical fertilizers or organic fertilizers to Singharaja forest? Have you ever heard adding fertilizers to the Amazon forest? No. There are so many plants. There are so many trees. No one is adding fertilizers to these natural rainforests, Singharaja, Amazon. Why? Because soil is highly fertile because of high microbial activity. Rate of decomposition is very high. Top soil like a sponge, full of organic materials, and rate of decomposition is high. Therefore, soil gets fertile. No need to add fertilizers separately. But cultivated land exposed to the direct rain, direct sunlight, get washed away with the rain. The topsoil get eroded. Then the nutrients get washed away. Next season, when you are going to cultivate in that land, man-made one, you have to put chemical fertilizers. Why? Previous season you have taken, you have the most of the plants, they have absorbed the chemical these fertilizers of the natural one, nutrients, and the remaining stuff get washed away after taking the harvest. So next time you have to put chemical fertilizers or organic fertilizers, otherwise the plant will not grow properly. But Singharaja forest, no one is going to take the harvest from the Singharaja forest. So you can't cut down the trees in the natural or the protected areas, strict nature reserves, or the natural the World Heritage Site. So you can't do any cultivation or restaurants, hotels. You can't have, because not only to Sri Lanka, it's a World Heritage Site. That means environmental organizations, they all are monitoring this natural rainforest. So it's globally important, not only for Sri Lanka, right? So that's not belonging only to us. Understood? Right. Then so that decomposition is very, very important to make even fertile. Next one, economical importances of bacteria. Bacteria, you can write to make dairy products. To make dairy products. Used to make dairy products. Within brackets write yogurt, curd, cheese. They use to make marmite. They use fungus to make marmite. Wait, not marmite. Marmite come under fungus, sorry. Marmite you can write under fungus, not bacteria. Bacteria you can write to make alcohol. Not alcohol, sorry, vinegar. Alcohol, can you write here alcohol and marmite under fungus? I don't have space to write. Can you write separate? I'll write at the top. I forgot that. Alcohol and marmite production under fungus. I'll write here alcohol and number 5. Alcohol and marmite If you want, you can check the Marmite bottle. Yeast is present in the Marmite. Yeast is used to make Marmite. Marmite alcohol. Right. Alcohol is useful these days. Why? Because it is widely used in sanitarizers, disinfectant. Alcohol is used as a disinfectant these days. 70%. Now alcohol is not, you can't use these beverages, I mean, or else brandy, whiskey, beer, wine, you can't use as to sanitize your hand sanitizers. That should be 70% or above. When you buy sanitizer bottle, check the percentage, volume percent, otherwise it is not suitable. You are just wasting your money. At least 70% or above. It's at least 70% or above. So normally 75%, 80%, but you can't have 90%. That's highly inflammable. And sanitarizers don't keep near naked flame. It can get catch fire. And don't keep inside this 70% ethanol, C2H5OH, or ethyl alcohol, or isopropyl alcohol used in hand sanitarizers or sanitarizers. So this 70% alcohol, you can see to make this ethanol or alcohol, what is the fungus used? Yeast. What is the process? Fermentation. Alcohol industry. Toddy, coconut toddy. Then you can get ethanol also from toddy. Kitul toddy, we call it raw. Kitul toddy, coconut toddy. So fermentation is very important process. Fermentation is the process. What is the group of organism involved? Fungus. What is the name of the fungus? Yeast. What is the scientific name of yeast? Saccharomyces cerevisiae, but scientific name not to remember. You will be doing that later. Right. Okay, that ethanol thing very important. But if you use 90% now, can the people drink this sanitizer? The ethanol? No. That is, the people are drinking arak and all the brandy whiskey. That's about 40%. Right? Around 40 to 50%. Around 40 to 40 is like 43, 48. 40. So below that you can take beer and wine around 8%, 12%. We call volume percent, composition. Right? So therefore, sanitizer bottle, alcohol, very important, very valuable solvent other than water. Right? Widely used in industry. So even in scientific experiments, we use ethanol. Right? Ethanol. Example, starch test, we use ethanol, ethyl alcohol. Then next one, under bacteria, you can write, other than to make dairy products, then to make compost fertilizers, to make biogas, then compost fertilizers, to produce compost fertilizers, or you can write the other one, you can write production of extraction of plant fibers. We call it coconut husk, soaking of coconut husk in water, extraction of plant fibers. Example, coconut fibers from coconut husk, plant fibers. So these are the economical importances of bacteria. Right. Then next one, number 24. I'll erase the screen. Anyone still coming down? Biogas production of compost fertilizers, plant fibers, and the other thing you can write decomposition of waste. That also I don't have space here. Number 5 you can write decomposition of dead organic matter, act as decomposers. That also economically important, globally important. Act as decomposers. Who are the two groups of decomposers? Bacteria and decomposers. Decompose dead bodies of organisms. Act as decomposers to make dairy products, to make biogas, to make compost fertilizers, extraction of plant fibers. Act as decomposers. And I didn't tell, you can write number 6, to make vinegar. Production of vinegar also you can use. Production of vinegar. Number 6. I have given 6 uses or economical importances of bacteria. Vinegar industry, alcohol and fungus. Yeah. Vinegar, fertilizers, biogas, plant fibers, yogurt, curd. Yeah. Okay, so done. So today we can finish the lesson. Next day we can start the reproduction lesson. So the last part is the nomenclature of organism, naming of organisms. Pulsar, are you done? Are you done? If you're done, please lower your hand, or else you can take a screenshot. Right. Then let's move on to the next part. Last part, write in scientific name, or we call it binomial nomenclature. Highlight the word binomial. Bi means two. Nomial means naming. Binomial name system of nomenclature. Okay, so when you write the scientific name of animals and plants, one of the best example you can see at the bottom, Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. So Homo is the generic name, genus, generic name. Sapiens will be the specific name, generic. So therefore any scientific name or binomial nomenclature, it consists of two words. First you have to put the generic name, and then you have to put the specific name. And when you are writing this name, there are some principles, so some standards. One principle will be the name. When you are writing the name, it should consist two words, two proper nouns. And the first you have to write the generic name. When you are writing, you can see his italics. When printed, it should be in italics. In any scientific magazine or even in your textbook, printed form, the entire name should be in italics. And when handwritten, it should be underlined. It should be underlined. When handwritten, it should be underlined. When printed, it should be in italics. And the other most important thing, scientific name, you have to take the first letter capital. First letter should be capital, and all the other letters in simple. Okay, now let's write the basic principles when writing the scientific name. Number one, write the name should consist two words. Name should consist, right? First one should consist of generic name, two words, so the two proper nouns, or else you can directly write should consist of generic name and specific name respectively. Should consist generic name and specific name respectively. Or else you can write, should write generic name first and then the specific name. Should write generic, okay, write then using your words, no problem. There's no rule like you have to write that as it is. Should write generic name first and then the specific name, and then a specific name, and second specific name. Example, Homo generic name and sapiens specific name. It should consist of two words, generic and specific name respectively. Should consist two words, two proper nouns, generic and specific name respectively. Number two, first letter is capital. First letter of the name is capital. First letter is capital, English capital, and all the others in simple. And all the other letters in simple. First letter is capital and all the other letters in simple. First letter capital and other letters in simple. I'll write just others in simple. Simple. Example, when you write Homo sapiens, H only capital. First Homo capital, H capital, Homo sapiens S simple. Sapiens S simple. Very important. Some students they write S also capital, the second word. sapiens. And if it is handwritten, you have to underline them separately. Okay, right? When handwritten, the name should be underlined. When handwritten, it should be underlined. When handwritten, it should be underlined. When handwritten, comma, it should be underlined separately, not with one line, separately. Homo separately, sapiens separately. It should be underlined. Don't memorize these rules or the standards. You remember these rules with the name of human, scientific name of man, Homo sapiens. So you remember that word, Homo sapiens, H capital, all the things in. And when you are writing, it should be underlined. When printed, it must be in italics. You can't do both. Some students, what happened? They write that in italics and underline both. Both italics and underline, that is wrong. That is completely wrong. Then the specific name is given in Latin or Greek language. That was I'll write here when printed. Next one, right? We'll write when printed. It should be italics. When printed, it should be italics. When printed, it should be italics. It should be in italics. Right. Next one, a specific name or species name is given in Latin or Greek language. Species name, that means is given in Latin. Salonica, Ceylon, Salonica, like that. Braziliensis from Brazil, like that. Name is given in Latin language, Latin or Greek language. But the name is written using English letters. Name is given Latin language, but name is written in English letters. That also important. Name is written using English alphabet letter. English alphabet. Name is written in English. In English letters. Nowhere in the, even if you check the Sinhala medium books, Homo sapiens, you can't ask what is the meaning of Homo sapiens. What is the Sinhala meaning of Homo sapiens? Anywhere in the world, Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens. Chinese, Japanese, Sri Lankan, anywhere in the world. Right? So therefore, it will not change. Name is written using English letters. Name is written using English letters. English alphabet. Using English alphabet. English alphabet. Right? You can't use any other alphabet. Now these days, coronavirus, they use the Greek alphabet. Beta, delta, mu, all these what? Gamma, you get like the entire the Greek alphabet in the future, I think, and according to this situation. So therefore, they use mostly in the science, they use Greek alphabet. So Latin or Greek language, and the name is written using English. So you can write Homo sapiens this way. It's completely wrong. You can't write in Sinhala medium students. They can write Homo sapiens using Sinhala letters, Homo sapiens. Japanese students, they can write using Japanese letters or Chinese letters. You can't write. This is completely wrong. Even in Sinhala medium books, they have write Homo sapiens like this in English, like using English letters. Any scientific magazine in the world, any scientific journal, it's in this format. You can't convert that into any other language. Using any other letters of any other language, you can't use to write this name. That is universally, internationally accepted method, right? These are the standards. So the basic, sometimes they can give in the exam basic principles, or they can ask basic rules. So don't know which word they will give in the exam, or basic, the standard. But anyway, these rules. So, but anyway, instead of asking to write these rules or the standard, they will ask you to write the name. They will give the, how do you get questions in from this in the exam? They will give all the letters in simple. So they will give, student has written the scientific name of an animal this way. Say example, Gallus lafayette. Who is Gallus lafayette? Jungle fowl, national bird in our country. Gallus, Gallus lafayette. L simple, Lafayette. Gallus lafayette. That is jungle fowl, valley kukula, haban kukula. Gallus lafayette, national bird in Sri Lanka. National bird in Sri Lanka. So they will give this in capital in the structured essay paper. G capital A Gallus lafayette, like this. And they will ask you to make the correction and rewrite in your answer sheet. They will give that in wrong form. Then you have to make the correction and rewrite. That is one method they can ask. Or else they can give MCQ, which of the following is the correct scientific name of man. What is the other form they can ask? Which of the following is the correct scientific name of man? But you will never get questions in the exam. You will never. Shall I erase this? Did you all finish writing all the rules or the principles? These are the rules that you have to follow when writing the scientific name. Right? Okay, hurry up. Those who are not written. I have given 6 rules. Now, if you want to write with separate with the pencil, no need to memorize the spelling of the scientific name of any plant or animal in the world or bacteria. They will never ask you to write. Therefore, no need to worry about, because I have given nearly 20 examples for these animals and plants scientific name. But no need to memorize the spelling. So they don't ask that in the exam. Okay. But if they give the name, you should know how to write it, right, in wrong format. Or MCQs mostly they have asked MCQs from this. Okay, no need to memorize, but some of the important ones can you quickly highlight here? Shall I erase this, Anup? All done. Okay. Okay. Out of these, please highlight Homo sapiens with important. That is the scientific name of man. Homo sapiens important. Here italics. Why? It's printed. But if when you're writing this in the exam, you have to underline. Then the other one highlight this Nymphea stellata, that is right in front of this national flower in Sri Lanka. Next, right, national tree. This is national tree in our country. Right? Misua Nagasari. Ironwood. National tree. National tree of Sri Lanka. Those special ones only just remember, because they can ask this in the exam. Not to write the name completely. National tree in Sri Lanka. I put SL. Then national flower in Sri Lanka. What is national flower? Blue lotus. Then next one, the other most important thing, blue lotus. No, yeah. National flower, national bird, national tree. Jungle fowl, right? National bird. The other one highlight here under animals, jungle fowl. Jungle fowl, Gallus lafayette. So near this, right? National bird in Sri Lanka. National tree, national flower, national bird. National bird in Sri Lanka. Right. So the others not necessary to memorize, but anyway I have given the name. And this also mostly they have asked in past papers. This shoe flower, hibiscus rosinensis. Right. But anyway, no need to memorize. Dog, Canis familiaris, lion, Panthera leo, monkey, Seminophthacus entalus, cat, Felis domesticus, peacock, Pavo cristatus, cobra, Naja, Elephas maximus, wheat, Triticum sativum, maize, Siamese, coconut, Cocos nucifera, right? Cocos nucifera, Then tamarind does indica. Like that. So shall I erase this? Did you highlight these four? National bird, national, and then so I have given few other examples. This was a bit important. Some papers they have this horror. That is endemic plant to Sri Lanka. This horror highlight because that is an Selenicus ne Ceylon. Ceylon becomes Selenicus because it's Latinized ne. Ceylon becomes Selenicus or Selenica. So that is right. Endemic plant to Sri Lanka. Endemic species. Endemic to Sri Lanka. Ipterocarpus selenicus. Endemic to Sri Lanka. Endemic plant to Sri Lanka, right? That's very important. This is also a bit important. Hevia brasiliensis, rubber. That is, it was introduced from Brazil. Hevia brasiliensis. That's also a bit important. So there are around 20 scientific names of plants and animals I have given from each 20. But anyway, don't need to memorize the spelling. You will never get a question. Write down the scientific name of rubber. Write down the scientific name of long bean. You don't get questions like that. Right? So you have to no need to memorize the spelling. But if they give the name as MCQs, you should know which one is correct. They will give the first name, first answer all capital. Second answer, first letter capital. Second letter also capital. Like that. Then you should know how to select the answer. That's how they have asked so far the questions. But anyway, within next few weeks, I will discuss all the past paper questions from this chapter in the paper class Sunday morning 5:30. Right? Sunday morning 5:30 paper class. Right. Then that is the end of this lesson. That is the end of this lesson. This one we have done. This one we have done. Last week I completed this. Right. Now next week we are going to start reproduction lesson. Okay. So at the same time, I'll try to use PowerPoint slide also. Next week I am going to use unit 14 reproduction lesson. Reproduction lesson plus the questions of this lesson I will be discussing in the Sunday morning theory class. Right. Okay, then it's almost 8 o'clock now, right? Yeah. So we'll stop for today. Have a nice day and God bless you. Stay safe.